Hello everyone and welcome back to our video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at Let's Make Big Moves 2023. It was a super major that happened this weekend and it was an incredible show. Everything was best of 5 and we had a quad stream setup. Absolutely insane production out of House of 3K and everyone on the team. So just huge shout outs to them. And getting onto the bracket, we had Tweek taking the whole thing, Spargo in second, Sonics in third, MK Leo in fourth, Gluttony and Light in fifth, Riddles and MK Big Boss in seventh, Cosmos, Jen, Debuzz, Anathema in ninth, and Kronos, Jake, Apollo Kage, and Riku in 13th. So there are 4 ways to get into top 16 through each pool, and we're going to be covering 3 players from each of the pools. This pool we're going to be covering Armadillo, MK Big Boss, and Jake. Starting with MK Big Boss, he beat Sonics, Cola, Red Oolong, and Anathema, and he beat Anathema in the Rob Ditto. Beating Anathema normally is very impressive, but in the Rob Ditto, like that is crazy. And then Armadillo beat Quick and Jake with Lucario, which is insane. He might have used a bit of Aegis against Jake. I didn't actually see that set, but I'm pretty sure he used only Lucario against Quick, which is just unreal because Lucario sucks, but Armadillo is very good. Don't get it twisted. It is that way. Lucario is one of the worst characters in the game. Please do not let this one result convince you otherwise. And then Jake had a very good losers run as well, beating Mega, who I don't know how he gets that far with Ganon. I'm assuming it's Mega the Ganon player because I don't know who else has that tag. But, oh my god, he's so good. And he also beat Embo Z, Cola, which is probably his best win of the tournament, Base Mage, and Armadillo. Like, that's just a super good losers run from Jake. He's one of the most consistent Steves in NA. Should be very happy with that. Quick as well and Armadillo, both very happy with 17th. Like, those are some really good placements. And overall, like, Pool 1 was just, like, super exciting to watch. A lot of very, very fast players in here. We have Chunky Kong in here going out fairly early. We had Peanut beating Burst, which is a super big win. Like, there's a bunch of amazing players. Again, we're not going to be able to cover everyone in this video. And if there's a player you want me to mention, just let me know down below. But those are the 3, I think, most, like, insane runs of this specific pool. And moving on to the next one. The next pool is the Light Gluto one, and we're going to be covering Kronos's, Jen's, and Leon's runs. But first off, I gotta mention how good Light Zomba and Gluttony Tilde were. Those sets were incredible, and also Tilde getting the upset over Meister was pretty impressive. That's been a bit of a demon for him, or at least he has a bit of a Game & Watch problem, and Tilde getting that is massive. And also just Meister is an incredible player, also being one of the earlier upsets of the tournament, going out at 33rd to Kronos, who I guess we'll just start with right now, because Kronos has just an unreal losers run. He starts off losing day 1 pretty early on. He loses to Stefan, who also had an incredible run because he beat Leon as well. So shout out to Stefan, he did very, very good. But then Kronos just turns up the Jets, beats Web JP, Boosk, Girly Teen Queen, Meister, Leon, and Zomba. Those are all insane wins, especially the Meister Zomba ones, because, you know, one of them is like, Zomba's like a top 20 player, and so is Meister, I guess. But Meister that is Game & Watch Snake. That shouldn't be doable, but people are making it work. I'm also pretty sure that Dio beat Mia this weekend, which is crazy. I could be wrong, but, like, Snake's reading good this weekend. Apollo Kage also did very well. Like, this is incredible. And then Zomba also losing to another Snake player. Maybe he has a bit of a Snake problem. Maybe Snake is better against Rob than I thought, but I still think that matchup is buns. But, you know, Kronos, huge upset. He played incredible. And then Leon as well, even though he did fall to Kronos, he still beat Puppet, Psychon, and Toast. Those were 3 just super, super impressive wins. Like, all of those players are incredible. But Jen, we got to talk about Jen because his comeback has been unreal. He beats Girly Tween Queen early on in winners and then loses to Zomba. But then, my lord, he beats C, who is a very good Palutena player from I'm not sure where, beats Omega, beats Tilde, and then he beats he beats Jake, which is very, very good. Does lose out to Riddles eventually, but Jen is an incredible player, and I'm so happy we get to see his comeback because he's looking like he wants to be one of the best Polos in the world at this point. Like, I think he's gotten second at Apex, or not second. He's got 9th at Apex and 9th here. I don't know if it was 9th at Apex or a different tournament, but I think it was Apex, maybe Port. But point is, Jen is very, very good. I'm super happy to see him back. There's also some other impressive runs in here, as there is. Of course, we can't get to all of them, but the main one that I think was the most insane is probably Kronos. Just the amount of sets they took in winners or on losers side were absolutely unreal. And, like, just, like, against amazing players as well. Kronos is like a top 30 player. He just needs to go to more stuff. Up next is the Tweek and Riddles pool, and in terms of upsets in winners, this pool was very, very quiet, but then in losers, we're a little crazy. I'm going to be covering doorstops, MPGs, and Goblins runs, but I have to give shoutouts to T3 Dom and Cosmo, who just had these, like, very impressive losers runs. But starting off with Goblin, he beat Shag, Chase, and Mr. Zircon, falling to Debuzz and Anathema. His set versus Debuzz was so good. That's, like, basically why I'm mentioning this run, because he was so so close. He was right there. He played out of his mind in that set. Barely didn't get it to buzz. It's super clutch. And then Anathema, who we usually beat, did take it over him this time, but Goblin still played very, very well. Highest placing Roy at the tournament, which, hey, that always feels good. He played incredible. Always nice to see him shine. And then Doorstop and MPG just both had these insane runs. Doorstop lost fairly early on to DeBuzz, beat Shady, Mr. Zircon, Quid, which is massive, and then lost to MPG. And MPG, actually, let's talk about Doorstop's win over Quid first. That is really big, because Quid is a phenomenal player. He also had a banger set versus Anathema, by the way. Reverse 3-0 Anathema, if I remember correctly. But Quid is super, super good. Even though he hasn't been in super practice lately, I don't think he's been to a major since Collision, which is a while ago. But he's still an incredible player. 33rd for him is very low, considering he won the last one. And Doorstop should be super happy with that win, because, again, Quid is unreal. And then MPG as well, just another insane losers run. Losing to Chag fairly early on, but beating Guy, Suarez, Jeja, Doorstop, and then losing to DeBuzz. That is an incredible run. He just had a third at Apex as well. Like, MPG has been looking very, very good lately, so he should be super happy with that. Also, shout out to Jeja for getting 33rd with Kirby. You shouldn't be able to do that, because this character is bad. But again, a lot of impressive runs in the losers here. Like, again, T3 Dom, very good one. Kazma, very good one. A couple other people I didn't mention. Just everyone played out of their minds at Let's Make Big Moves. And again, there's a lot less upsets at the tournament because everything was best of 5. So you have those top players. You give them more time to adapt. I really like this format. I just think it's great. I think the better player wins a lot of time, which is always what you want. Sorry for the ad. Highest level of play. Hope we can see more events doing that. Obviously, it's not like super sustainable if you're running like a bunch of side events, melee as well. But still, thought I'd mention it. This was just super sick for best of 5. And I think we got to saw a lot of amazing sets because of it. And the final pool is the MK Leo Cosmos run, and the 3 runs we're going to be looking at is Cosmos's, Riku's, and Enhanced PV. Starting off with Cosmos, he beat Epic Gabriel, Ned, and Shattuck, who's a big demon of his lately, so that's always nice. And then he did lose for 9th place, but still, that's a very good run for him. Showing consistency is always nice, and he showed Corrin every single set this tournament. I think every game 1 he tried Corrin out, which I really like. Now, it didn't work a single time, at least from what I saw, but still, I really like that he tried it. And Cosmos is just like, he's an amazing player. I love when he does well, and I think he's gonna have a lot more confidence in the Aegis. Just like he got this far in playing like basically a game down every time, because the Corrin was getting farmed. Listen, I love Corrin. That character's sick. Corrin was getting farmed. Speaking of Corrin, Shattuck beat Onin. That is crazy. That's a huge upset for Onin, or for Shattuck rather. He should be very happy with that. He's been on the grind lately. They've just been getting so much better, and he has a super bright future in this game because he's still pretty young. And then Riku is the next run. He beats Atada to make it on in an upset in winners, and then he beats Syrup, which is also an insane win, loses to Apollo Kage, and beats Epic Gabriel, Quandale Dingle Ingleton in the Ditto, and beats Shattuck as well. Riku, he's one of the more lesser known Steves, tied for highest placing Steve at this event, by the way, with Jake. He's definitely one of the lesser known Steve mains that has been doing very well, but he has been grinding for a while. He's been farming his region. I don't really know what it is, but I just know everyone there knows he's incredible, and he proved himself this weekend. He is super good. And then Enhanced PV, making one of the most impressive losers run of the weekend, up there with Kronos, beating Jojo de Hobo, Ling, Andrew T, Ned, Onin, and then losing to Apollo Kage, and then he got upset, I think, by Smirk in day 1, I'm pretty sure. But, these are insane set wins. To do this all with Cloud as well, because Cloud is a very good character, but there are some characters that you are just going to lose to sometimes. Sometimes you just get gimped, and that's all you really have to deal with. I'm pretty sure Andrew T is ZSS, which I feel like ZSS is a character that could exploit Cloud. Not saying the matchup is necessarily good, because I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that could be tough. I feel like Ned has an amazing Cloud. He's pretty good at the matchup, probably. He is getting a bunch of amazing wins, and then beating Onin as well. Even though that is one of Steve's 2 bad matchups, that is still an insane win. Onin is top 10 in the world. Again, it cannot be understated how insane it is to beat Onin, so he should be very happy with that losers run. This was probably the most eventful out of the 4 pools, but now that we've done all that, we can finally move on to that top 16. On to top 16, let's just talk about the elephant in the room, MK Leo at 4th, and he was using basically solo Joker. From what I saw, the only time he switched was against Sonics, Cosmos, and Quandale. Quandale, his Joker got actually destroyed, and he switched to Byleth. Cosmos, he played Marth at the start for some reason, and then he switched to Joker once he lost a game. And then against Sonics, he switched to Aegis in the last 2 games, and probably out of all the sets he played, that should have been the only set where he actually didn't go Joker. I mean, the Quandale set as well, but Aegis is just that's one of Sonic's very good matchups. And now it's it sounds mean because I'm always been yo, Leo, please play Joker, and then it's ooh, Wish you didn't play Joker, that said. But anyways, it's really hard to pick when you have three characters, especially in the moment like that. But that's still a massive win for Sonic. Still beating the Joker is very impressive. And the Joker looked really good. Even though this is an underperformance from Leo, the Joker looked very, very strong. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't that bad. Like, he played out of his mind. We still had, like, his gun usage was just like, I mean, most Jokers, you gotta have good gun usage, but Leo's, it's still the best. His movement is still absolutely incredible. Even with an underperformance here, I wouldn't be too worried about it. Leo is very good. And now we have all three characters. He's proven he's ready to use them at any time against anyone. I think the future for him is incredibly bright, despite, again, a fourth year. And it's not that bad. Come on. It's not that bad. Underperformance, whatever. He'll bounce back, but hype to see the Joker back. But now, let's talk about Tweek, because my lord, Tweek is playing good. He beat Squid Plumber, Jeja, Anathema. Then he beats Riddles, who has been a big demon for him. He beats Leo, who is Leo still, the Leo Joker, too. Then he beats Spargo in 2 Game 5 sets. Those sets were some of the best Smash I have ever seen played. And I'm not over-exaggerating. I'm not being content brain. That was some insanely good Smash. And Tweek played out of his mind. It was all Diddy this tournament, I am pretty sure. And I'm super happy that he was able to overcome Spargo, especially because, like, you know, he lost the last 4 sets to Spargo, but they were within, like, such a small period of time. Like, 2 of them are, like, I mean, he beat Spargo at main stage, then lost twice in Grands, and then lost twice from at Scuff. So it's not like Spargo's been dominating him for a while. It's been, like, a month. But, like, that's a super big win. Tweek winning the biggest major of the year so far, so Tweek is the best player in the world. Listen, I don't make the rules. Tweek's the best, Ackland's the second best, but, like, Tweek is looking very, very good. His gameplay is just incredible. His kill conversions are insane. His last stock, I mean, it's Tweek. I could talk about how good he is every single day of the week. Sun God Tweek is no more. Now he's like the entire Pantheon or something, but, like, Tweek looked incredible, and he's aiming to be number 1 in 2023. Like, my lord, is he good. Up next, I want to talk about Spargo, who played very well this tournament. Second place here, losing to Tweek twice, but he beat Gluttony, he beat MK Big Boss, he beat Armadillo, Dark Wizzy, and Deathspade, and Sonics in the loser side. Those are all very good wins, and he had some very close sets with Tweek. Like, both those sets were nail-biters. Anyone could have won at any point. And this is, like, becoming a super sick rivalry, Spargo-Tweek. We already, like, kind of had it, like, beforehand with, like, you know, Collision and stuff. But now it's, like, we've seen this set, like, 7 times in the last, like, month, which is, like, crazy. These guys have been in the grand finals at every single event they've gone to in the past, like, 2 months, which is just, like, super impressive. They're both incredible players. Spargo, like, Spargo's been making waves. He's looking for to be the best player in the world right now. And even though him and Tweek are overperforming at Leo this tournament, I still think Leo's the best. He can still hold that caveat. Now it's at the point, though, where it's up in the air. Anyone could be the best player in the world. And the next player to win a major that all 3 of these guys are at, I think is the best player in the world, hands down. And that is just so hype. You have Aquila in the mix there as well. Like, the story for Ultimate is just super, super sick now. But TLDR, what I'm saying is Spargo is very, very good. He easily could have won this tournament, and I wouldn't be surprised if he wins another one in the future. The next run I want to talk about is Sonic's run, because even though he gets upset by MK Big Boss fairly early on, he just goes crazy in losers. He beats Kronos, Cosmos, Riddles, all 3-0, which is very impressive, beats Gluto, who he normally beats, and then he beats Leo, which is unreal. Even though Leo was going mainly Joker, which is, like, I'm saying even though it's, like, it's the Joker, that's, like, his peak, but the Aegis is usually the matchup that he wins in, but he still took a game off the Aegis in that Game 5 when it mattered most, and Sonics was pulling out the most unreal clutches I've seen this tournament. And he was playing, like, this, he was so impressive this tournament, because he was just so slow. Every single game was this long nail-biter, and it was just, like, I don't know how he can do that for an entire tournament. I'm genuinely baffled at how he is able to do that. He played incredibly. Sonics is an amazing player. As we know, like, top 10 contention in the world. That guy is absolutely unreal. And I hope we get to see more of him, because we didn't see a ton of him towards, like, the end of the year at least. Actually, we saw him at, like, 3 tournaments, which is pretty good. But I hope we get to see more Sonics, because he is crazy. And the way people are forced to play around him is just unreal. Like, he is the best Sonic right now. I want to say by far, because Ken's more of, like, a Sephiroth player now. But Sonics is really, really good. Super happy with him. Now we got to talk about the 5th place finishers, and Gluto and Light. And Gluto beat Mystery, Pop-Bay, and Tilde, which were all very good wins. And then he beats Light in a super close set. Like, they always have banger sets. It feels like Gluto's been closing them out mainly now, but, like, oh my lord, that set was incredible. And then he does lose to Spargo and Sonics, who are probably some of his bigger demons. Actually, Spargo's not really a demon if it's, but Sonics definitely is. He did tough it out with Wario this time, though. I know at LSI, he was trying other characters, so it's going to be interesting to see if he actually does end up picking up a secondary or if he just tries again to tough it out with the matchup, because he definitely can do it, but again, does he need to? And then Light also having a very good run, beating Psychod, Stefan, Zombo, who are all amazing players, and then also beating DeBuzz, who he usually beats, and MK Big Boss, ending an insane run there before falling to Leo, but he did take a game, even though I think Tweek right now is going to steal that number 1 spot in NA. Light is still there. He is still an incredible player, has still been doing very well. I think he's been getting like basically only top 5s. I think he got maybe 7th at Scuff, but he has like a 4th or 5th at main stage, I forget, a 5th here. Like, he has still been doing very, very well. Even if this isn't like top 3 in the world, he's still definitely within that top 10 range. Probably still like top 7, 6. I don't really know the numbers, but Light is still very, very good. Glutoni as well had a rough bit in Europe there, but like they both have bounced back this tournament. They're looking incredibly strong, and I think like 2023, God, I'm so excited to see all the players we mentioned and everyone we're going to talk about at Genesis. Genesis is going to be crazy with the amount of storylines and like now head-to-head that we have. It's going to be unreal. And the final player of top 8, because we already talked about MK Big Boss, is going to be Riddles, who beat Suarez, Chag, and DeBuzz. As well as Jen. And the loser side, Riddles, when he wins so hard. Like, harder than any other player I've seen. It's like, it's either he gets 3-1 or 3-0'd, or you get 3-1 or 3-0'd. I feel like Riddles hardly ever has game 5s. I don't know if he had any this tournament, but Riddles he's an amazing player. He's so good. Probably still best Kazuya in the right now. I'd still argue over T, just because it's hard to judge, though, because Tease is more of a secondary Kazuya, and then I think if Riddles mains Terry, I don't know if he'd do better or worse, because Kazuya's better than Terry, but I don't know, it's a tough dichotomy. Riddles is still very, very good. I do think we'll start seeing more of a secondary after this tournament, though, because, like, especially against Sonics, like, it didn't look like the Kazuya could do. It just looks like some matchups are super hard, and obviously Kazuya is a character that can win any matchup because he only needs to hit you 3 times. It's really tough sometimes, so it's going to be interesting to see if Riddles does pick up a secondary or like go back to more of that Terry, maybe the Roy as well. But still, a 7th place for Riddles is very good. He's an absolutely incredible player and should be happy with that placement. The 9th place finishers of Cosmos, Gen, DeBuzz, and Anathema. Gen we already kind of talked about, but DeBuzz beating Apollo Kage, that's a really big win. Apollo Kage is unreal, as well as getting some other good ones along the way. DeBuzz is just like so consistent. Same thing, honestly, with Anathema. I feel like Anathema has crept up on me as like always being in this spot of like, he's always like at least 9th, 13th, sometimes 17th, and he usually goes higher. Like, Anathema is incredible. And then Cosmos as well, kind of already talked about him. Sometimes he gets here, sometimes he doesn't. I expect it's going to be sometimes he does more now because of how he looked here, but like, I don't know. Cosmos is just a player, like, when he's playing at his peak, he just looks so good. And I don't even think he was peak here. I think he looked really good, but I know he can push even farther because he is unreal. All the players getting 9th here unreal, and out of all of them, I'm going to be a little biased. Gen, I'm so excited to see more of Gen. I just hope he can keep making these insane runs because he is such an amazing player to watch. He's so good. And the only 13th finisher that we didn't actually cover is going to be Apollo Kage. And Apollo Kage did fall, unfortunately, fairly early on to MK Leo, but he still had a very good run. He beat Riku, he beat Ling, who are very good players, and he beat a Hans PV, who was having one of the runs of the tournament. Like, Apollo Kage is, again, one of the most consistent players in the world. Same thing like Anathema, has super crept up on me in 2022 as just being like this top 20 NA player who is just unreal, always getting these amazing placements, can really beat anyone. Quid, or Anathema beat Quid, by the way, I forgot to mention that. But Apollo Kage is very good. I expect to see him in more top 8s. I expect literally every one of these players, if we just see them at more events, they could top 8 at any second, and that's what I love about Let's Make Big Moves. The fact that everything, again, I kind of mentioned earlier, is best of 5. I feel like this was one of the highest level of play top 8s that we have seen in a really long time. Like, other than like LSI or like Scuff, because those were like invitationals and stuff, for open major bracket, this was insanely stacked. Everyone played out of their minds. Super happy with this tournament, and I thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the tournament as well, because this was incredible. Umabora recap is going to be coming tomorrow, and again, if there's any runs that I didn't cover, because I almost certainly didn't, because there's a lot of them, let me know down below. I'll be sure to go over them. And yeah, thank you guys for everything. Sport's been absolutely unreal lately. You guys are the best. Sign your Tweek apology forms, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.